Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to another Triple M special. That's not special. Nothing special. I just kind of do the same things every week, at least on these couple days. Anyways, this is the video series where we go over the top posts on the MapleStory subreddit over the last week, and we do this every Monday. This week, though, we do have some special stuff. It's going to be the KMS test server changes. More specifically, I think the thing that most people are talking about is the 30-star change. And all time. No, let's go to past week. Surely it's in here somewhere. Yes, here. Let's just open these two for now, and we'll see initially. Wasn't there a better post that kind of showed it all? Am I crazy? Yes, here. This is the post I wanted to look at, because this is just the patch notes. This is the thing that I wanted to look at. Okay, so basically, the big thing in KMST right now is they changed the Starforcing system. The TLDR is, I don't know how to generalize this in, like, a concise way. So what I'm going to say is, essentially, this is going to change pretty much nothing in the current iteration of the game for us. For, I would say, probably 99.9% of people. Reason why I say this is because rates are essentially the same, going up to 22 stars on your items on event, and you're not starring off event anyways. So I see a lot of people saying, well, now I can't star off event because the rates are worse, which is true. The events, the off event rates are worse, but realistically speaking, you were not starring off event anyways, so this just seems like a very strange argument. This game has always been very event based. But yes, off event, the rates are worse. On events, the rates are the exact same as they've always been, on average. Obviously, variance will exist. I do think this might lower variance in some cases. Maybe I'll get into that later, but essentially, it's going to be the exact same thing, up to 22 stars as we have right now. And if you are not already someone who is pushing past 22 stars right now, this change literally does not mean anything for you. It's just a different Starforcing sort of structure, and the Starforce points go up to 30. The biggest thing is it goes up to 30 now. And how did they do this? So how they did this was, let's see, is this the, yes, this is the chart that I wanted to look at. So basically what they did was they made it so when you fail a Starforce enhancement, you do not lose stars anymore, right? So you might look at this and go, holy shit, those success chances are terrible. And at face value, yes, they're much lower, right? Though I will note that 30% still exists at 20 stars. It goes from 15 back up to 30 and then drops back down to 15 for 22. And before, like, all of these were 30%. But the boom rates are also much higher. But the thing you have to factor in, which I don't think a lot of people are doing for some reason, despite it being like the whole reason this changed, is the fact that when you fail, you don't lose stars, right? So you have to factor in, every time you click, you have a 30% chance to go from 20 to 21, currently, right? When you get to 21, currently, you'll have a 30% chance to get to 22 from 21. But, I don't remember the boom rate. Is it 7%? I think it's 7% currently. The boom rate is 7% currently, so that means you would have the remainder chance to fail, and then your item would drop a star, right? And then you'd have to pass another 30% chance to get back to 21, and then you would have to pass another 30% chance to get back up to 22. When you math this shit, it's just math, man. I'm terrible at math, which is why I let everyone else do the math, and then I verify it. I'm not doing the shit myself, but it ends up being roughly the same, and I think in terms of just it being a smoother experience overall, I think this will just end up being better in the long term. Another thing to factor in, the boom rate is obviously much higher, but the special event is less boom chance, right? Which is why... Does this show? No, it doesn't. This is just off event rates, I believe. But I mean, even off-event rates aren't that bad, right? 5 spares instead of like the 3 off-event right now. I mean, it's more for sure, but I mean, if you're starring off-event anyways, then you already know what you're doing. I just feel like that's such a weird argument to make. MapleStory has always been event-based. But basically, the Starforce event lowers the boom chance up to 21 stars, meaning nothing changes, really. The only time it changes is when you go above 22 stars, right? And a lot of people were like, oh, this means we're going to be swapping back to Galax, we're going to be swapping back to CRA, because we can easily 26, 27, 28 star these items. No, you cannot easily do any of that, first of all. Second of all, you're not going to be doing that anyways, because the rates are, well, okay, the rates are not essentially the same, because our old 23 stars turned into new 25 stars, our old 24 star turned into new 28 star, I believe, and old 25 star turned into new 30 star. Jesus Christ. It's a lot to try to figure out. But basically, 25 and 26 star items will be more accessible than they've ever been, but also 25 star now after the change will be 23 star before the change, in essence, right? Obviously, it doesn't work out that way in terms of stats, but it works out that way in terms of percentage chance to get that. So, really, you have to think about it from the angle of, if you were somebody who you were trying to go for 23 star before, I mean, those are the people that this is mainly going to be affecting, okay? Some of the posts I've seen are so bizarre, man. And it's like, well, now we have to push for 27-star Galax items, CRA, and you do not. Nothing changes, man. And I don't fucking know where the post is, and I don't think I can find it right now, because ultimately it doesn't really matter. But there was rough math done. 25-star CRA, I think, is still slightly worse or slightly better. I cannot remember for the life of me. It's either 25 is slightly worse and 26 is slightly better, or 25 is slightly better, but only just, than 22-star Eternals, right? And it's not like this is easy to get, okay? Like, look, here. This isn't good, because this does... Oh, no, this is fine, actually. I guess it just inflates the spares slightly. But, like, to get 26 star, it's 214 spares, right? And that's not factoring in the meso cost for one item, right? Because this shit cost meso. A lot of fucking meso, right? There is a Starforce calculator. I'm gonna go pull that up, actually, because mathbro just updated it here, right before I made this. So basically what we want to look at here is, like, let's take a look at, like, CRA gear. We'll do the multiplicative. We will not be safeguarding our current stars. I mean, let's just say we're at 12 stars, because that's what our trace will end up at. We'll go to 26. We have to go to KMS? Yes, okay. Let's assume we do it on event, okay? So this is average simulation of 26 stars, right? On event, let's do 10,000 trials. Excuse me, I thought I clicked 10,000. I like to do 10,000, I don't know. Doesn't really end up changing too much, it just makes the data a little bit more reflective of, like, real-world trials. I mean, variance is always going to be the biggest factor. Okay, so 10,000 trials. We're starting at 12 stars. We're going for 26 stars on a 140 gear, so CRA, on 30% boom. This only works up to 21 star. Average booms is about 94. Average meso cost is about 174 billion. Like, is this doable? 100%. Is this free? Fuck no. Are you kidding me? This is average. 95 percentile is 511 bill for one item. 95 percentile for booms is 283 booms. This is for one item. In this 26 star item, will only just be a little bit better than a 22-star Eternal. Just a little bit. I just don't understand the people who are that freaked out about this. It's just math, man. And I'm terrible at math. But people who are not terrible at math make it easy to validate and look at this shit yourself, right? I mean, anyways, with that all out of the way, what I think the real fear is going forward is that, obviously, now that stars go up to 30, there will be a slow push towards, rather than 22 being the expected stopping point, that expected stopping point will slowly creep up and up. Now, that is a very, very real and very valid fear. And to that, all I can say is I hope that the localization team in GMS does something specific to our server. That's really all you can say. I think that is a very real fear, a very valid fear. And, I mean, it's a logical step forward, right? If you have a system that goes up to 30 and the reasonable stopping point is 22, I mean, you're missing 8 whole levels of potential power, right? So, naturally, over time, it's very likely that the standard will go up. And content will be made around this new standard. But I think, like I said, for the vast majority of people, this is a non-issue. And it's only going to be an issue if Inkwell doesn't localize it properly for our version, which, I mean, it's your own personal opinion whether you think he will or he won't, but, I mean, it's up to you, man. I can't make that decision for you. Ultimately, I think the direction that GMS has been going is pretty good, you know? So I'm optimistic. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't get fixed properly, but I'm also, like, not being like, man, this shit's fucking cooked, bro. Like, I mean, is what it is, you know? And no amount of bitching about it will make it any better or different. Because this is not like a system, this is not just like a quick little number change, you know? This is gonna be like a spare change, or like a system change, or like a fucking, I don't know, some massive change that is going to be more than just a group of people complaining about something. You know what I mean? Like, this is not a change that's just going to be made overnight. So it's either they've been working on something or they haven't. You know what I mean? And if they haven't, well, that sucks for us, because that's not good. And obviously, this affects Reboot more than it does Interactive, though I do think Interactive, it's still going to be kind of not as good for Interactive as a lot of people think it is. Like, this is going to be, like, absolutely fucking oil baron status for people, right? Like, that's what it's going to be. And I do think a lot of changes need to happen, but as it currently stands, for all of the content in our game, post this change, literally nothing will happen. Nothing will be different. Nothing changes, right? I don't know. I don't know, man. And it's like there are, like, niche edge cases, right? Where you can be like, well, since 23 and 24 star are more accessible, maybe you could star up like a Golix pendant a little bit higher and transfer that over to a source or whatever. And it's like, yeah, of course you can, right? But ultimately, if 22 stars are where you stop at now, 22 stars are going to be where you stop at afterwards. That's my point, right? Because it's not like these items that you stopped at 22 on will have easy to access dupes, right? You're not starring a pitched item to 23 or 24 or 25. Unless you're fucking insane. In which case, go for it, man. But that's my point. That's kind of what I mean when I say Reboot needs some sort of, like, massive sweeping change. Something that's going to be... they've likely already been working on if we're going to be getting something, right? It's not just going to happen overnight. This is something that they've been working on. But that's my opinion on it. I don't know, man. And obviously they did change some bosses. It's mostly a bunch of boss nerfs, which again, completely goes against what people are saying right now, where it's like, well, shit, now after this patch, the meta is going to be 24-star this and that and this and that, and everything's going to get so much harder. And it's like, they're literally nerfing bosses. It does not make sense to me. But I think this is more like an overarching problem of the internet at whole. It just seems like everybody wants to be mad at something for some reason all of the time. And I'm just sitting here eating my popcorn going, damn, I wish I had that energy, brother. And I mean, this is a fair assessment. I was hoping for Starforce to be revamped to either be cheaper or less punishing. This is neither. I do think the drop stars will be like not going down in Starforce level when you fail a star. I think will overall be a mental improvement, and the system itself is a side grade / slight improvement. But I definitely understand this argument. But to say it's just outright worse and like we're getting weaker, it's just not real, man. It's not real. It's in your head. You're fighting demons that aren't real. And then this post also got posted because the last post we were just looking at was from the same guy, and it was pinned for like the entire week. And then today he pinned this one, which is like TLDR Starforce. I repeated a false claim and I saw saying 26 stars is the new 22 star, which is fucking insanely not true, and it has never been true. What a shock. You go back, watch the actual Maple live stream. You are a 22-star gamer, nothing changes. Thing that changes is something for endgame players to pursue. An H-Lomi and C10 player isn't going to pursue double priming their gear when they're still trying to get 3-line. Don't expect them to pursue 23-star plus. That's my whole point. Nothing in this progression chain is changing whatsoever for the vast, vast, vast majority of people. And this is the actual problem, right? It depends on KMS balance's new bosses. Yep, this is the actual problem. And this problem has always been a thing, right? This is literally why they quote cited to remove their reboot, because they didn't want to have to balance bosses and shit for reboot. They already they never did in the first place, right? So this is not a new problem, but this is definitely a large system change that could pose a massive problem until we get the next set of power creep, which may or may not come. Anyways, I think that's gonna be it. Yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty big change. And there were a bunch of other changes in there, like level 6 Oz rings, Destiny weapon stuff. But the star forcing thing, I think, was the biggest focus. And I think the biggest point of contention for a lot of people. Because I don't understand how so many people are just saying things that are blatantly wrong. Like, I mean, I don't care. It just blows my mind. It's just math. It's numbers, brother. I don't know. Anyways, like the video if you like it, subscribe, all that good stuff, and let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you guys all in the next one. I love you all very, very much. Thank you for watching. Bye.